This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for Thursday, November 21st, 2024. I'm Marek Mazurek. Downtown Indianapolis's longest-running luxury hotel has a new look that honors its past. Over the last 6 months, the Omni Severin Hotel has undergone $24 million in renovations.
We've really focused the hotel around a train theme because Union Station's right next door. In 1853, it was the first Union Station built inside the country. And back in its heyday, we had 25,000 people and 300 trains coming here every single day, delivering guests.
That's the hotel's general manager, Steve Quackenbush. He said all 424 guest rooms have new mattresses, furniture, and decor. The Art Deco style honors the historic Indianapolis Union Station, which is located across the street. On the main level, the renovated Bar Cardinal is across the lobby from the 8th Notch Cafe and Market. The name refers to the highest speed setting on a train and features grab-and-go items as well as a sit-down menu. The Omni Severin also made upgrades to its internet, HVAC, and other systems. The hotel is one of 10 Omni properties that are being renovated this year at a total cost of $1 billion. Indiana's next governor has big plans for the executive office, a proposal that would trim his cabinet to include 8 policy secretaries aligned with core governing areas. Governor-elect Mike Braun's new cabinet will seek to model, quote, efficiency, accountability, and communication in state government. Cabinet members will include Braun, incoming Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith, Braun's Chief of Staff, the Superintendent of State Police, the Adjutant General of the Indiana National Guard, and secretaries over 8 policy areas or verticals. There will be a Secretary of Management and Budget, Commerce, Health and Family Services, Public Safety, Energy and Natural Resources, Education, Business Affairs, and Transportation. Related agencies will be grouped together into those policy areas. The Department of Agriculture and the Office of Community and Rural Affairs will continue to be led by the Lieutenant Governor as outlined by statute. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Central Indiana, your bold future starts here. IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the IEDC invite you to Engage Central Indiana, December 12th in Indianapolis, presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. Join us for a day focused on Central Indiana's growth. Connect with fellow leaders and walk away with bold new thinking to help your region thrive. RSVP now at ibj.com/engage.
Evansville Mayor Stephanie Terry on Wednesday announced the launch of the city's new Fight Blight program. The goal of the program is to identify and rehabilitate blighted properties throughout the city. The mayor previously said the city would allocate $550,000 in American Rescue Plan Act interest funds towards that blight removal.
It's our job as a city to ensure that every resident has the opportunity to live in a safe, stable home, in a safe, stable neighborhood. The Fight Blight program is another step forward. It's not just about tearing down houses, it's about community development.
The first phase of the Fight Blight program will use some of that funding to raise 23 properties already slated for demolition, but that were delayed due to lack of funding. The mayor's office is also asking for assistance from residents to help create a database of blighted properties around the city. Residents can send the property's address, condition of the house, and if possible, a photograph to the city via email to get it in the database. Evansville says once the identified properties have been inspected and found to meet the qualifications for demolition, they will be prioritized based on their condition and location. A 2-year task force on Wednesday released broad suggestions for property and income tax changes, but left the specifics to business tax recommendations. Lawmakers created the State and Local Tax Review Task Force last year in hopes of ditching the state's individual income tax. That's now off the table, as task force leader Travis Holdman says the income tax isn't going anywhere in the foreseeable future. Still, Holdman hopes to knock the income tax rate lower, but he has repeatedly pushed observers to moderate their expectations. On property taxes, the group recommends a credit for all eligible taxpayers older than 65. And a Purdue University-affiliated company has received a NASA contract to develop a new way to repurpose certain spacecraft components. That process would reduce the logistical challenge of transporting heavy payloads into space. The applications could also extend to other industries like aerospace, electronics, and sporting goods. The Phase 1 Small Business Technology Transfer Contract, worth a little over $150,000, would help AnalSwift LLC fund 2 initiatives. One is the development of processes and hardware to disassemble spacecraft components and reassemble them for a secondary use. The other is software for multiphysics simulation and analysis of the thermoplastics used in the component repurposing. AnalSwift CEO Alan Wood says if humanity wants to build infrastructure on the moon and maybe one day Mars, it has to figure out how to transport those heavy and large payloads into space. Musician, cheesemaker, filmmaker, and educator, Paramount Schools of Excellence CEO Tommy Reddix is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast, hosted by Gary Dick, presented by PNC. A weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Marek Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio On Demand.